spend. So they will definitely provide something happier, relaxing travel. People, they have to release their stress. So they will spend many of the time in the beach or some like relaxing tours. So short tours will be more than multiple day tours. So that is why tour guide demand will increase. The second thing, travel agents. During these 2 years, I think many of the travel agency, they are shut down or they are like temporarily stop it. So, or some of them that disappeared. So what you have to do is reconnect. They have to reconnect with their tour guides, or for you, contact with your partners to making sure they still remember you, because in the future, you still need them to give you some jobs. Or second thing, they need the reliable tour guides, because customer is everything, right? So what they have to do is they have to build up their reputation again. They have to secure their high quality. That is why I'm saying the tour guide demand will increase. So tour guide fee, I mean your salary, daily income will be higher because they have to pay more to get you. All right. And another one, tour consultant, because you are the best friend of the tourist. Have you think about it? Tourists, they have the inquiry before. They go into travel agent, and after their arrangement, they give you a job. And what you have to do is make tourists and travel agents happy. All right. Okay. So agents, what they are doing, they are providing itinerary, hotel, transportation, tickets, and restaurants. But in these days, individual travelers is getting more. So they will not need a travel agent that much. So all of these will direct to come to tour guides, and you are the local expert. So you have to be, you are their consultant for the tourists. So that is why tourists in the future, they will direct to go to see tour guides. How can make the tourists to find you? You have to do a sales promotion. You have to make tourists to know you. As I mentioned, individual travelers is getting more, and tourists, they direct to go see tour guides, and they don't have to see agents, but where to find you? That is a huge question. You know this is important, but maybe you don't know how to do it, and that's why you are here. And we are your best friend. We are going to help you. MyProGuide. We are a professional tour guide platform. As you can see the pictures here, we have many tour guides in different countries. So what we're trying to do is we want to make for travelers to find the tour guides everywhere. Sorry. All right. So far in MyProGuide, we have a lot. We got at least 15,000 tour guides in 32 countries. And in these couple years, we already took over 500,000 tourists. The reason why I built up this company, because I'm also a tour guide. But before, no agent care about me, licensed. I'm a licensed tour guide, but no one respect. There's many travelers in the street, but there's no channel to meet them. Most important thing, who knows me? I have to make them to know me. That's why I want to having my own online resume. So this is a very solid reason that this company is still surviving in this after pandemic. In tourism industry, there's so many different platforms. First one, hotel. Let's go booking.com, Agoda, or Airbnb. For the car, Uber or Grab. For ticket, Skyscanner. What about the tour guides? There's no place. So that's why we make them to find us. Free to join us, why you have to pay? You have to pay attention to the customers. So you can be part of us. Be part of MyProGuide. Online resume, like this. So tour guides, you will guiding your own pages. Of course, your introduction, experience, where you come from, what language are speaking, your experience, and your license. And here in this part, you can see it's reviews. So this will be your online resume. You can provide to your agent or customers. Everything is about internet. Put yourself on the internet. Will be helping you. Personal page, you have to gather exposure, review, and reputation because you have to win the trust. After you getting this, you got a tourist around the world. You have to start the work. Last thing here, in Myanmar, in Cambodia, I hope you guys been here before. Cambodia, Angkor, very beautiful. Singapore, Thailand. So all you can see is the tour guide that really getting jobs for the customers. And of course, the virtual tour. North Macedonia, Philippines. So no matter that is online or offline jobs, you can, tourists, they all can find you on the internet. Also very important, you can get the tips from the tourists. They can direct to pay you after they write you some reviews. Look at this small line here. Give tips online, easier and more. All right. Now is another very interesting thing. And this will be, you never seen it before in tourism industry. Here, guide radar. So the customers, they can find a tour guide easy as an Uber, for example. The tour guide, the customers, when they want to find a tour guide, they just turn it on the map. They can see who is the tour guides around him or around her. For you, you can turn it on when you want to work. So you can manage your time for tourists. Instant booking. For example, maybe they find a tour guide called Diana. So maybe they click book now. They can direct to see this, make a reservation. You can direct, they will direct to choose what kind of a tour style they want and direct to pay. Very easy, just same as an Uber. Of course, we're having our own charting system. So you can chat with a worldwide tour guides if you got some jobs or if you need some support. Transfer the customers to the other team. We have to be friends. Tour guide is not enemy. We don't against each other. We work with each other. So we are the supporter for the tourist guide and we connect with the traveler. So let's follow the trend. Guys, have you think about it? Get a job by waiting for a call? No, that's really traditional old style. Collect a review on paper? No, they will be recycled. Your future customers will never see it. So please put everything online on the internet. Most important, be the partner with worldwide tour guides. Here, I got ready for you. Hey, tour guides, tourism industry is totally different. We need to do some changes for ourselves to meet tourists. There are nothing much we can do during the pandemic. So what you can do is preparing for the future. So make yourself online, build up your reputation. We are here to be your best friend, and we are free. For your next step, first one, you can join us, register with us, and start to collecting your reviews from any customers. Second, download the app, no matter from Google or no matter from just download the app, no matter which phone you use. Turn on the radar and invite the tour guides to join because we have to work together. All right. So yeah, very welcome you to join us. And my name is Joe, the founder of MyProGuide. Now it's the time for you to clap the hands. Thank you.
Yeah, big hands for Joe and together with for the Ruby as well. Yes, so after Ruby and Joe's presentation, I think first of all, we're quite inspired, by the passion and enthusiasm that Ruby shared with us to keep on our job. And then Joe's presentation about MyProGuide also gives us more insights about the coming trends, the development, after COVID-19, and also the platform that would give all of us opportunity to get connected online and get connected with our customers, potential customers from the world. So yeah, let's keep it up. So before the exciting part today, I noticed that already 160 friends of our tour guides getting online already. So I'm really curious about your thoughts, your feedback. So please do click on the Slido link, to ask us any questions for today's events. And also we will do the vote for today from time to time to ask your thoughts, your feedback to us. So here comes our second question, second vote today. The question is, are you willing to be an online tour guide? Are you willing to be an online tour guide? The answer could be yes. Of course, I want to try every possibility. I want to share my thoughts, my passion, my knowledge about my land, to, every tourist from the world. Or no, I prefer tour guiding for real people in the offline world. Yes or no? Let's see the answer. Wow. Cool. Yeah, please vote. Run. All right. Yeah, it's exciting. The answer for yes is very close to 80% of us. And I believe that 23% of saying no, you love your job for sure. You love being tour guide for sure. But I believe that you want to get more human touch. You want to be more like physically contacted with the real people so that you can provide your best hospitality and the services, to the customers, right? All right, that's very good. I think it's a good sign that most of the tour guides in the seminar today would go for yes, want to be the online tour guide. That means online tour has great potential to grow, and we still have a lot of opportunities. Under pandemic, under lockdown, we can still see the world, experience the world through your eyes, through your introduction, through your passion. So I like the votes, and I like, the feedback you guys give me. So let's keep on. All right. Now here comes the most exciting session, which is the continuous sharing by World Tour Guide today. So they are from many countries, over 15 tour guides. So they are from, Australia, Paris, France, Indonesia, Czech, from Taiwan, Thailand, from Asia, from America, from Europe, from a lot of different continents. So let's no longer wait. Welcome our first speaker, Ivy from Australia. Ivy, are you ready? If you are ready, Ivy, you could start talking and introducing yourself. And then after Ivy, we will have Q from Paris of France as the second speaker. So each one of you will have 3 minutes to present, to share your story with the world. So Ivy, over to you. Okay, so Rita, please unmute Ivy so that she can speak. Or Ivy, if you can click the microphone, maybe you could start talking as well. See if that's possible.
Yeah,
I hear
can
you.
Everyone hear me now?
Yes, clear.
Eventually. All right. Hi, everyone. Hi, Ruby. Hi, Danny. Hi, Joe and Rita and everyone from everywhere in the world. So my name is Ivy. I'm at the moment in Sydney, Australia. What a good day to celebrate our International Tourist Guide Day. Today is also the day Australia opens the borders to international visitors.
Wow.
So it's a very exciting
turning
news.
Point.
Exactly. And all our tour guide friends are all pretty much ready. So just give a very brief introduction about myself. So I was born and bred in Taiwan. Taiwan is also known as Formosa, as everyone all knows. So you can call me. I'm Taiwanese or Formosan, and also Taiwan is a island country. So I'm literally an islander as well. I have immigrated to Australia for about 20 years. When I was in Taiwan, I was working as a dietitian, and also I was working spent 5 years of my life working as a medical representative, actually for AstraZeneca. I'm sure everyone knows that company. Although I have my 3 jets from Pfizer. Anyway, so when I came to Australia, Rita, you can present the second slide, please. Yeah, so when I came to Australia, I was working initially as a medical interpreter. So I was looking for a tree change. So since 10 years ago, I started being a tour guide, and it's been 10 years. So I also do overland um, tourism as well. I show people around the whole Australia. This is a beautiful map of Australia. The size of Australia, it's about the same size as America if you don't count Alaska. So it's the sixth largest country in the world. But in terms of population, we have 25.5 million people, very similar to in Taiwan. And as you can see from this map, we have different regions. And so I'm scenic-based tour guides, but also I take people around Australia for multi-days as well. Could be 7 days, could be 12 days. Haven't done any 30 days yet, but if that happens anytime soon, I'm going to celebrate. So in Australia, we have population about more than 260 languages spoken in Australia. And the population, of course, also includes our Aboriginal Australian people. And we also have Torres Strait Islanders people as well. So it's a huge country, and a lot of places, I'm sure, there are a lot of international visitors, also domestic visitors, their bucket list. So that's a lot of tourism there. So Rita, you can turn the next slide, please. So what have I been doing during pandemic? Well, basically, we all know as a freelance tour guide like me, and also other tour guides are here today. I believe before pandemic, you probably all been very, very busy. In the case of me, I had about 20 clients I've been working with. Of course, some are major and some are less major. So I basically, before pandemic, I work a lot of back-to-back jobs, and I could potentially work as early as about 6 o'clock. I was in the airports doing meet and greets, and also all the way did a lot of back-to-back tours, and I even run ghost tours. So many times I started my job from 6 o'clock in the airport, and if you need to meet people at 6 o'clock as a tour guide, what time you have to be in the airport? 5:30. So what time I had to get up, and when I finished my ghost tour, when I went back home, 11:30, I did it back to back, and often I didn't have weekends for years and years. And I always knew I needed to study more. I needed to up skills, but there wasn't any time for me. So pandemic came. Of course, I wish it wouldn't have happened, but crisis could also be a turning point. During this time, I did a lot of up skills. I studied a lot of courses. Australia is a great country, and I'm sure the same as in Taiwan and some other great countries as well. Our governments get a lot of tour guides, a lot of supports, and we also have a lot of free, very amazing courses. I probably during this time, I've done probably over 10 not qualifications, some short courses, some accreditations. So it really enhanced my job very, very much. And also, this is a period of time, a lot of my friends, they move on to something they like better. So we just spend time to be ready, and also have time to reflect what you really want to do in your life. Some people probably move to something better they always wanted to do, and some people stay on. Some people like me, we stay on, and now just be ready. And probably within these 2 years, you heard pivots, this word a lot. Yes, so we know how to pivot. So being very ready for the international visitors to come back. And one thing before I finish my presentation, I just want to mention that I was quite aware that not to put all the eggs in one bucket. So at that time, I started working domestic tourists. I did a lot of food safari tours, and those are aiming for domestic visitors, and I also did some education tours, and they were aiming for our local student kids. So with those things together during pandemic, I survived quite well, and I also keep myself very occupied, very busy. So yeah, so just good luck for our future tourism, and I'm very positive about our future, and I can't wait to work more with my pro guides, especially doing more of the virtual tours as well.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you so much.
Abby. Thank you for inspiring words, and especially we can witness this turning point that Australia has opened its border, has already started to embrace the post-COVID world, you know, the trend.
Yeah.
So that's a good sign. So let's keep it up and yeah, share with us, you know, how it's going later on. So the second speaker will be Q Xiaoquan from Paris, France. So we are all ready. If you are ready, can just start. Over to you, Xiaoquan.
Hi everyone, can you hear me? It's
Yes,
here.
yes,
It's
clear.
Chen in Paris. So please, Rita, could you please show my slides? So, okay, here's Chen if you speak Chinese, and you can find me on social networks, Chen à Paris, in Instagram. And I was born and raised in China. So you can see the spelling of my name is a little bit strange. And before coming to France, I studied in accounting and audit and worked for 3 years in China. It was completely another world. I have got a chance to meet France when I did my bachelor studies in China, because I spent 1 year in France as an exchange student. So it was a great opportunity for me to discover a completely another culture and another way of life. Because you may know in China or other Eastern Asian countries, we live in a very competitive society, and kids are told to get good studies, have a very good job, and earn your life and get a good status in the society and for your life. So when I was an exchange student in France, I discovered that French people, they have another rhythm of life, and they choose job according to their passion, and they do simply what they like. So after 3 years of work in an accounting firm in China, I decided to come back to France to do what really fascinated me. So I did linguistic studies and art history, and then I turned my passion into my profession. So I work as a tour guide to provide cultural visits, and also I am a trilingual interpreter, so I accompany all the professional meetings or visits. I did translation from English to Chinese or French Chinese. So I really enjoyed my life before COVID. And during COVID time, like we just mentioned in the first vote, I do find another job since the end of 2020. So most of the time now I work as a real estate hunter in Paris. This job also provides me another perspective to see Paris, to discover the hidden gems, like for architectures or real estate market in Paris. But on the other side, I always appreciate the work and experience in the tourism industry. I love meeting people. I love sharing my experience and my passion for French culture for visitors in France, in Paris. So during this time, I also get many trainings, because I did a lot of wine tourism in France and also a food tour in Paris. So I get 2 trainings in wine and spirits. The one you probably know is the WSET level 3. So I studied also like Australian wines or South African wines or Napa Valley in the United States. So prepare myself to welcome the tourists from all over the world once the pandemic ends, I think it will end in the short future. And I also tried to do some local tourism. So the picture in the middle you see, it's a street art walk tour in Paris that I did in the summer of 2020 for just French local people. And the last picture you see, it's an online tour. I think most people are doing or you have already done during the pandemic time. So I think tour guides, we are very open-minded. We like to meet people. So we are also ready to try everything. So we keep all these opportunities to get connected to the world. I think we are fully prepared to welcome the tourists from all over the world.
Yes.
So I will say you the third slide is also a good news for traveling to France. So it's very all the restrictions were eased just 10 days ago for fully vaccinated travelers. So regardless of the country of origin, you can come to France if you are fully vaccinated. So Pfizer, Moderna, or AstraZeneca, Covishield, all the vaccines that recognized by the European Union, you just need one proof of a complete vaccinated schedule to come for France. If you are unvaccinated from the green list of country, then mainly the European country or Taiwan, Japan, South Korea, or Indonesia, you're able to come. So everyone is welcome to France. If you're from the orange list country, like most of part of the world, the United States, or Mexico, Canada, you need to have a compelling reason if you are unvaccinated. If you are vaccinated, wherever you come from, you can come to France without problem. So I'm here waiting for you in France. So Rita, you can show the next slide, the last slide.
And so because the time limits, so maybe like let's end it up with one sentence. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm waiting for you in Paris. So like flexible visits or some hidden gems we'll discover together. And Paris is always a good idea. Welcome.
That's terrific. Wow. Thank you very much. And since like France is also getting ready for embracing the world again. So congratulations, Xiaoquan. You are learning, keep learning and being versatile. So I believe that after COVID, you will have even more opportunities and you can talk like even deeper, even insightful for France. That's very good. Thank you very much. So our next speaker will be the Cindy from Indonesia. Hi, Cindy, over to you. Hi, you should unmute yourself. Yes.
Yes, I have been unmuting myself. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
It's 8 p.m. here in Jakarta.
Okay.
Did you hear me? Yes, you have me already,
yes, very
right?
clear, very clear.
Yeah. Any Jakartans or anyone has ever been to Jakarta before? Nobody?
I've been there. I love the food.
Yeah,
hospitality, good.
Yeah, and so am I. So I was a guide, but I'm not like the previous guide before. You guys have a lot of experience. I've been doing this guiding thing since like 2017. It was like 4 years ago. And I was born and raised in Jakarta. So I'm Indonesian Chinese. Yeah. So what am I doing during the pandemic? Rita, can I have the next slide, please? Yes, what I do pretty much for a living, out of becoming a tour guide, I'm also a tour leader and also an interpreter and a translator. So whatever that has a relation with those who speak in English or in Mandarin, then you will see me in Jakarta. That's most of my job, what I do and pretty much do for a living for now. Now, for the Corona times when everyone cannot travel, well, I know everyone is sad because most of us as a tour leader, most of our tour were canceled at that time. We were canceled in a lot of the tour and a lot of trip as well, a lot of our airplane tickets. And well, it was kind of sad. So what did we do is, for the first time, we did something called the virtual tour. Can I have the next slide, please, Rita? Yeah. Sometimes the tour is just what I did like now, is I did it from home. Sometimes it goes a bit fancier, you know, sometimes when people want to have like experience, and they want to have more experience, probably they will rent a studio like this, and you just need to do that at home or sometimes at the studio. But because of this improvement, at the old time before the pandemic, I was a person that did not even understand technology at that time. But because of the pandemic, when we want to do the virtual tour, of course you want to improve yourself, or else nobody's going to fit you, right? So what happened to me is I learned a lot of technology, for example, how to use the Zoom, and then to use this content, how to make a content that is good and that is interesting for a lot of people. And because of that, I try to improve my public speaking. And since then, I became a professional MC for business events. And that's another thing that I do for a living for now. And I hope that it might go better and better. So is everyone's trying to improve themselves every day, right? So I try to improve myself as well. But what about being a tourist guide? Am I still a tourist guide for now? Yes, I am, but the tour is kind of, we shape a little bit from our normal in the bus tour, like what we did before, like we start at 6 morning, and then we go to the bus, we do the guiding around the city, and we need to send people back to hotel or send them back to the airport. But for now, mostly things will go like on a walking tour. Can I have the next slide, please, Rita? Yeah, so this is my work like nowadays. So for now, my tour will only last for like 2 hours. Sometimes it's 3 hours, and it's a short distance, like 1 to 2 kilometers around the surrounding, around the place where I live. So most of my tourists for now is the local domestic people, the Jakartans, those who want to understand the city better. Probably, for example, Daniel, if you live in Taipei, right? You live in Taipei, right?
Yes.
No. Yeah, but a lot of Taipei people, a lot of Taiwanese probably don't even know their own country. They don't even know their own city. This is what happened to most of Jakartans. A lot of Jakartans do not understand Jakarta. They don't even know where to go out of malls, because Jakarta, we have like 340 malls around the city. So most of us Jakartans will go to the malls, and then sometimes when the pandemic hits, we can't really go to mall because it's indoor, right? So most of people choose to go outdoor, and then they try to understand the city better. And that's how we have the tour. And most of the tour goes like this. It goes outdoor, but still we need to use our mask with us. And then it's a small group tour, but everything's outdoor. And you know, guys, Jakarta is hot, like all year long. It's hot. So it's just like an outdoor walk. So it's like this. Sometimes it's another, can I have another slide, please, Rita? Yeah, sometimes it's like that. So we go to like the shabby part of the city. Sometimes we go to the fancy part of the city. So depend on the walk, but still every single part of the city has their own story. And I think this is it. Some sharing from me. I hope you guys also stay healthy and stay happy at your place.
Thank you very much, Cindy. And I believe that Jakarta has a lot of population. And to my understanding, there is 280 million population in Indonesia. So I think domestic market to you is a huge market, you know. So I believe that there are still a lot of work to do. And yeah, just try to seize this opportunity to introduce your beautiful city to more beautiful people living there in Jakarta. Thank you, Cindy, again. So let's welcome our next speaker from Europe, Max from Czech Republic. Are you ready, Max? If yes, can we just start?
Can everybody hear me?
Can hear you, yes, very clear. Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for inviting me to this event. I'd like to introduce Prague to you, which is really one of the, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful cities in all of Europe. Many people have prepared their slides here with a lot of pictures. Mine won't be probably like that, but I will try to make it interesting through having good delivery. So thank you, Rita, for already putting out that second slide where you can see maybe to some of you, it is still an unknown territory where Prague actually is. So it's in Central Europe. It's in the heart of Europe, right next to Germany, Poland, Austria, Slovakia. It's a country that is about the same size as Scotland, for example, with 10.5 million inhabitants. And it's been around for about 1,000 years. So we have a lot of history to share, and it's quite an interesting market, really, for tourism, or it has been recently. If I may ask another slide, Rita. Thank you. Yes, so Prague really, in this world where where everybody has a camera, Prague is really, if you haven't seen the pictures, Google it, because it's highly attractive. It really looks incredible. It's kind of almost like an organic fairy tale feel, and we don't really have to try really much to make an impression. The city already does that for it. And since we have been until 1989, we were part of the Eastern Bloc, and the travel was pretty much not really possible for a lot of people from all around the world to our country. And then since then, we've been only being more and more discovered. And from a tour guide's perspective, since we are not like, you know, when you talk about Italy or when you talk about Great Britain, everybody has those associations. But with Prague, with the Czech Republic, or Czechia, as nowadays is the term, it's a bit of an enigma, and therefore the tour guide's work is very free. We are free to present what we think Prague is, and we are highly, our work is very, very, can make a huge difference. And of course, the industry in Prague is rapidly growing. Just to give you an example, in the year 2000, it's been 1.5 million visitors annually, and now it's 50 million, or it has been right before COVID. It's by a large part, it's European visitors. We've been a part of the EU since, I believe, 2006, and there's a lot of Europeans coming in particular from the German-speaking realm, from Germany, from Austria, because we have very close cultural ties to these countries. But of course, recently, in the last 30 years, we have been also discovered by the entire New World, Anglo-Saxon world, let's say, the United States, Australia, Canada, and so forth. But of course, the globalization is unstoppable. So I would say since the beginning of the 21st century, there's been also a growing number of visitors from Eastern Asia, from India, and also the most recent from the countries of the Gulf, from Arabia. That's on the rise. If I may ask another slide. Thank you, Rita. Yes, so me fitting into this, I am a native with very strong local roots. So my family's been living in Prague since 1744, and I've been a professional tour guide for 8 years about now. I am, of course, fluent in Czech, which is my native language, but I have also partly German roots, not an unheard of thing in my country. And as you can see, I am also fluent in English. I've always been doing tours for incoming tourists, for local tours, for schools. I've been in the past 8 years, always jumping from topic to topic, from discipline to discipline. And I've even launched in 2019 my ghost tour company, which was ended, however, by the pandemic. Ghost tours are a big favorite of mine. I believe it's been already mentioned here. Ghost tours, I think, has a huge potential all around the world. And may I have another slide, please? I believe that's the, yes, the COVID lessons. Of course, there's been this question of like, have you moved on to a new job? Have you started doing local tours? Have you taken some time off? I have taken, well, I could like put my answer to all of those, but it feels to me really And yes, it's these new virtual tours. That's what we are all exploring now. I think it's a very good thing because in my country in particular, half of the season in winter, it's not possible, or it is possible to come, but it's not as fun. And so we experience a big down season. So for that, it is very useful to have virtual tours. And really, in my career, it's been like always like that I've been always spread very, very thin, and it did not really benefit me in, let's say, in times of prosperity. It was just fun. But now, since the crisis, many of these things have fallen apart. But all of a sudden, when I talk to other tour guides who have been maybe more specialized, they all of a sudden, their 1-2 things are gone. And out of my 10 things that I was doing, all of a sudden, 2-3 things are performing again, or just are continuing to performing. So my biggest lesson is diversifying your portfolio can really save you in time of crisis. Now, when it comes to coming to our country, I believe that brings us to the last slide. May I have the last slide, please? Yes, coming to Prague. Czechia is a part of the Schengen zone. So you need, obviously, as it's been already told, I believe from Paris, you need some sort of EU certified vaccination. But in both winters, it's been kind of like we've always had like big waves only in wintertime. From May to, let's say, September, it's very safe to come, and it's also fun to come. So I highly recommend going in Prague in this window, not just, well, for new reasons nowadays as well. And the pandemic forecast looks good. Hotels and services are open, and you can always check the newest regulations on prague.eu. That's the official tourist portal.
Thank you.
I might have forgot to put this into the presentation, but I think it's very valuable to check this website out, prague.eu. And that concludes my presentation. Hope I
Thank you very much, Max, from Prague, from Czech Republic. It's very knowledgeable of the presentation, and I love your lesson. Diversifying yourself would give you more opportunity under crisis. I think having more, versatile, having more skills, that would always be the good strategy, to overcome the challenges when it is a hard time. So thank you very much, Max. So next one, we welcome David from London. David, we're all ready. If you are ready, just speak out. Oh, David, you are in the car.
Oh, can you hear me? I'm in the car, yes.
Yeah, I can hear you very clearly. Are you doing your tour guiding job right now?
I am. Well,
wow.
right now, right now I just finished a virtual tour about half an hour ago for MyProGuide. And now I'm doing some driving, so I've got to pick up some customers and things in a few minutes. So I am in my car, yes, but this is really where I spend most of my time anyway. So
good spirit.
In good times, I spend more time in my car than I do in my house. So, but I'll tell you why in just a minute. So thank you for having me on this afternoon, and thank you for organizing this great event. And also to all the tour guides out there, to all my colleagues, hey, I hope you're having a good International Tour Guide Day, or whatever the national equivalent may be in your country. But it is supposed to be a day of recognition and celebration for our industry, which I'm sure many of us are feeling the same challenges due to the nature of the pandemic. But basically, I've been guiding for about 15 years now. I think, like many others, I kind of just stumbled into this industry. Really, before that, I used to be an English teacher, and teaching in different countries, in Spain and in Mexico, and traveling around a bit. And then I came back to the UK, and I was given a scholarship to do some journalism studying. And then I just applied for a job that looked amazing, which was a tour director for educational tours, mainly for students from the US, but also Canada, Mexico, Taiwan, Singapore, India, from countries all over the world. And basically, they would come here to Europe, often as part of a language course. And at the end or at the beginning of that course, maybe have a few days or a few weeks around Europe. So it was kind of an easy transition from being an English teacher to being a tour director around Europe on these educational tours. And, you know, and I had done a lot of traveling when I was a child with my parents, and then you know, as I grew up on my own, so I was fairly familiar with most of Western Europe and parts of Central and South America. So it was a quite easy transition, but you know, it's not as glamorous as it sounds, and it does get quite tiring to live out of a suitcase for months at a time. And you know, sometimes I would end a tour in Barcelona one day, and the next day I would start in Paris, you know, without even going home, and you're living out of a suitcase for months and back to back and all of that. So eventually, you know, I kind of got a bit tired of that, met who is now my wife as well, you know, started a family, and so decided I didn't really want to be on the road that more any long. By the way, I may not have said I'm from London. This is where I was born and raised, although I've lived in many different countries, well, in a few different countries, and this is where I'm living now. So I decided to retrain as a local tour guide in London. I was doing some walk-in tours, many of which I still do today, and also some tours on the coaches in the big tour buses, not only in London, but around the beautiful country, right? Southern England. So places that everybody's heard of: Windsor Castle, Stonehenge, Bath, Oxford, the Cotswolds, Stratford-upon-Avon, right? William Shakespeare, you know, all of these wonderful places that you can visit very easily in a day from London. And so I did that for a few more years. I started my own walking tour business. Eventually I sold that on, and I started off a private car tour business, which is what I was doing until the pandemic. I had been doing that for a few years, but then I set up my second company, and 2019 was a really good year. You know, I had a fantastic year. I had a team of 5 driver guides working with me. You know, in February 2020, we were like pretty much fully booked all the way until September almost. And then, of course, you know, everything came tumbling down, and the world as we knew it kind of changed, right? And we had to change with it. And of course, you know, it was very sad for all the families that have been affected by the pandemic, and all the disruption that it has caused everyone in one way or another. You know, it has changed the world that we live in. So, you know, I kind of pretty much lost most of my business. But, you know, London is a city with many opportunities. And so I adapted to different things. So firstly, because I have this big car, you know, I have it's like a 9-seater van, right? So like, you know, which I use for touring. But of course, we had no tours. So, but people needed to, you know, the key workers needed to get to hospital. They couldn't use public transport. You know, so there was a contract going out to put taxis for all the care workers. So that's what I did at the first pandemic, you know, taking people to work in a hospital. So that was, you know, a big challenge. It was pretty challenging. And I, you know, apologize, my slides aren't that great, but I got caught in a storm the day before yesterday. And so actually just made it back to London yesterday, and so I didn't really have time to prepare my presentation as much as I would have liked to. But in any case, you know, after driving for the hospitals, then the film and television industries opened up. And so, you know, I began to drive cast for different films and television productions, some of which I'm sure you've seen on TV or will be watching. And then after that, you know, so the whole of 2020 was no tourism. I tried to adapt to the local tourism market. And, you know, you think London is a city of 11 million people. I could have done that. Some colleagues did, but I was just busy doing other driving work and, you know, too busy to pivot a whole business really. And, you know, with another source of income. So I did that. And then 2021, about a year ago, I started doing virtual tours. And so that was really interesting. That was a whole new skill set, you know, to go out with a gimbal, streaming the city, you know, the streets of London. Sometimes the streets were empty in January, February. This time last year, we were still in lockdown here. There was nothing open. You know, I was in Trafalgar Square. I'm sure many of you have heard of Trafalgar Square, or maybe you've been there. Just me and another 6 people, right? Normally there's hundreds of people there. So, you know, it was just, you know, and here the face mask has never been compulsory on the street. So, you know, people were streaming from around the world saying, oh my God, nobody's wearing face masks. You know, what's going on there? You know, and I had to tell people at the beginning of the tour, listen, if seeing people without face masks is going to make you uncomfortable, you probably want to leave this tour, because this is London and nobody's wearing them, right? Because it's not mandatory, and everything was closed. The bars, the restaurants, the clothes shops, everything. The only thing that was open were the pharmacies and the grocery stores and the places that sold food to take away. Everything else was closed. So that was the beginning of 2021 for me. You know, it was super challenging, but at the same time, so excited to be, you know, guiding, right? And although it's different virtual, and, you know, I'm really grateful to MyProGuide as well for giving me that opportunity, you know, but it was great to just be interacting with people and showing them London. And, you know, I mean, I forgot things like William Shakespeare's date of birth, right? Which I had been repeating for many years. And suddenly, because you haven't done it for a whole year, you lost that kind of information. So it was my way back into guiding. And then in September, we opened up to international tourism. I mainly worked with the US private tours. You know, we got quite busy. We had people from Taiwan before, we had people from Singapore, we had people from India come over before the Americans were allowed to fly in. And then once the Americans started flying in, you know, it picked up again from September. I had pretty good 4 months. Then we had Omicron, so things kind of went a bit wishy-washy again. And now things are, you know, January and February in the Northern Hemisphere, it's winter, it's pretty cold. We don't really have much tourism at this time of year. A few tours here and there, but not really. And so now we're back, right? And that kind of, you know, leads me on to my last point. And sorry if I'm going a bit over, but, you know, like England, you know, well, you know, like this country is a bit strange, right? Because United Kingdom, Britain, Great Britain, England, you know, what's the difference? That's kind of the first thing, right? So very quickly.
David, thank you. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's it. England is open for visitors. So come and visit.
That's very good news and very good ending. Yeah, we can see, like, you know, things start picking up and coming back again, especially when I see you, David, like sitting and talking, you know, in the car. You know, it feels like, it just reminds me of a picture that, you know, the knight riding on the back of a horse, and tour guide is the fighter. We're fighting on the back of the car. You know, that's the same picture that we can like symbolize ourselves. So yeah, let's do it. Let's keep it up. So thank you, David from London. So next one, Sandra from Myanmar. So I'm glad that you can still make it. So Sandra, over to you.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Good evening. Bridget from Myanmar. It is over 8:30 here. So I'm honored to be here today on this International Tourist Guide Day. Happy International Tourist Guide Day to you all. I'm really excited. Okay, please, next slide. Okay, according to the agenda, let me introduce myself first. The next. Yeah. Okay, let's get started. The next. I prefer so many slides. Sorry.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. But I will present here as sure as I can. Okay. So here, so you will see a beautiful lady with a Myanmar traditional umbrella. It's called Sandra. So I'm Sandra Snow. I've been, you know, working as a tour guide for over 6 years. And, you know, I met with MyProGuide since 2019. And really, I'm very happy to be a part of MyProGuide. Okay, so I do so many tours with MyProGuide. So I do so many tours inbound, outbound, and domestic tour. So I have done so many tours with my ProGuide for inbound and domestic tours. So like I do culture, walking, biking, rickshaw, and package tours. Okay, the next slide. These are our members' memorable photos. So we have team meeting, and we have free tour on the pagoda platform, and then we have dinner party, and then some photo of our domestic tour. Yes, so let me talk about how I packed my COVID period and what I'm doing in this crisis period. Okay, the next. Okay, so yeah, I will see the next slide. Okay, so during the COVID period, I was downhearted and I didn't know what to do, and all the tour canceled, and I've never dreamed of to be jobless. At that time, MyProGuide arranged some online meeting with our tour guides around in Myanmar, and I got so many friends at the same time, and we were talking about our future tour plan, and we were talking about what we were doing during our COVID pandemic period. And then when the situation was a bit better, then we did the domestic tour, a sightseeing tour, a half-day sightseeing tour in and around Yangon, because most of the local people, they were looking for the opportunity to go out here and there, but not so far away. That's why MyProGuide arranged a half-day sightseeing tour for them. So it was successful, and over 300 people joined the tour within 8 weeks. But unfortunately, we had to stay at home. And then after months, when the situation was a bit calm again, MyProGuide created some job opportunities for me. So I did 1 hour online virtual tour out in the street. So I walk colonial age buildings, and then I explain about Myanmar culture, and then I visited local market as well. But sadly, unfortunately, on 1st February 2020, our country was under coup, and we lost our chance to do any virtual tour out in the streets in terms of our safety. Yes, the next. So yeah, so it was impossible for me to stay without doing anything. That's why I had to find a job, and finally I got a job as an English part-time trainer. I've been working for the job for over a year, and I like the job as well because I can polish my English and I can get so many knowledge from that class as well. Yes, the next. So okay, so let me tell you about current situation in Myanmar. So we have, like arrest political situation, and we cannot do a tour in and around Myanmar. But we are looking for some other opportunity to do some short tour, half-day tour, or something like that, because we are looking for some a safe place for the local people. So we will do the tour with the local people first. Yeah, so hopefully to get back our country situation normal, and we want to do our job back as before. Yeah, please pray for us. Thank you, everyone. Let me stop my presentation here. Have a nice evening.
Okay, thank you very much. It's good to see you sharing with us. While Myanmar, from what I know, that you are also like going through the hardship time over there, but it's always good, to use tourism, to use, travel and your hospitality to welcome the world to your country. So thank you very much, Sandra, for sharing with us.
Thank you.
So the next one would be G from Thailand, but just like to know if G, you are not online. So if you are online, so please contact us because we couldn't find you at the moment. So let's switch to Yildiz from Turkey first.
Hello.
Yes, Yildiz, I can hear you very clear.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. So please go ahead, start sharing. Thank you.
You're welcome. I hope everybody is fine and healthy these days, these hard days. My name is Yildam. I'm from Turkey. I live in Kuşadası, the second biggest cruise port in Turkey, nearby the ancient city of Ephesus, which was used to be the capital of Asia Minor of the Roman Empire. And you can see the picture of Ephesus, the famous library back on my slide. I work as a guide since 1998, and I'm a history graduate. And I work worldwide for the cruise companies, worldwide known cruise companies, docking in my town in Kuşadası. Can we switch to the next, please? Yes, this is my town, Kuşadası. Honestly speaking, there are not many cruises coming to Turkey ports for about 5 years, even before the pandemic, for political reasons. So tourism is in crisis here for a while. In this time period, I started to work as a tour leader for Turkish groups doing tours to Balkan countries. And I had to hire, my company had to hire some local guides over there in Serbia or Albania or other Balkan countries that we traveled for. Also, the tourism potential for Asian countries increased in this time. And so I guided for Malaysians and Chinese for all around Turkey. But during the pandemic, when the pandemic started, I adapted myself for personal training and personal education. And I did a lot of historical readings that I could not do for all my 20 years of job experience. And I also learned American Sign Language. And I made an Instagram page like ASL Guide Turkey. And I met an application company for mobile and for games. And I created a visit game for my town, Kuşadası. It's called as Questo. And I met MyProGuide and did some virtual tours with them to Ephesus when we were let outside. Can we switch to the next one, please? Until now, 12 million people were infected in Turkey and 90,000 people were dead, unfortunately. So for months, we lived with mask, distance, and hygiene rules, and we still have to, nothing is over. But after June 2021, Turkey opened its gates to the tourists with a program, with a health program. It's called Safe Tourism Certification Program, and it included many criteria for all tourism partners: quarantine, thermal screening, testing areas, and health insurance, and so on. Can we switch to the next, please? Thank you. This program consisted of 4 main pillars. They are all based on verification, conduct, hygiene, and health inspections for accommodation, food and beverage, tour and transfer, culture, art and congress, and all the theme park facilities, and ended with a certificate, and they must be hung on their showcases or somewhere on the walls, and this must be given by the government. So all these companies or facilities who are managed to get this certificate by obeying some rules were allowed to get the tourists or the customers. The others were out of the system. No permission was given to them. The best part of this program was to give the priority of vaccination to the tourism staff just right after the old people, just right after the 65 years old people. And finally, I would like to congratulate the day of the International Tour Guides in memory of the father of all the tour guides in Turkey, who started guiding in 1930s. And the fisherman of Halikarnassos, I want to market him a little bit, is very, very special for us. And a traveler, a tour guide, and full of everything, an Oxford graduate. And since 1930s, we are guiding in Turkey with his guidance. And his name is Halikarnassos fisherman Cevat Shakir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yilden from Turkey. This is also very inspiring, and especially today seems like a good day for celebration, right? So thank you. Now back to Asia. We have G from Thailand. So G, are you ready?
Yes,
Go ahead,
I'm ready.
please. Yes,
You
I can
me?
hear you.
Oh,
Yes.
great, thank you. Okay, hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Gaiji from Thailand. Actually, we call it Bangkok, but right now it's changed to Bhutan Hanakon, but it doesn't matter. Okay, next slide, please, Lisa. Okay, short, brief introduction about myself. I'm a tour guide for a few years, about 3 years. I speak English and French, and I kind of love this job. It's like not just only exploring around the cities, met the local people, but also met a new client and have experience. We learn from each other. And during the COVID situations, the things I do is like learning, practicing a lot of things, language skills, do my jobs like interpreter, moderator. This is what if you notice my name, I just forget to change the name. Okay. The next slide, please, Rita. And another thing, I will show you a short clip video. Wow, I wish this worked, but actually it's about like a virtual tour because Joe asked me to do that. And it's kind of brand new experience for me to practice something like that because I've never done it before. And you can see the atmosphere of the Thailand of Bangkok without like touristic, like, well, definitely like empty cities. All right, maybe it doesn't work, right?
Maybe we share this video later on and provide the link.
Oh,
it's popping up.
But it's kind of like, yes. I never ever dreamed that I would saw Grand Palace without tourism. Like it's full of space that you can take a photos everywhere. Okay, next slide, please, Rita. Next slide. Okay, next slide. Next slide. Oh wow, this is an old one. Do you mind if I share my screen? Because this is the old one. I updated the new one already, but like, okay, why I keep talking? Well, actually, I want to tell you about the picture of the update things for things in Bangkok, especially for Khao San Road. You guys know it, right? Okay, I guess that you did. Khao San Road is very famous, and now we have a lot of like renovation, not just only Khao San Road area, but also for the Grand Palace too, and also for Wat Po, and we have like an underground tunnel that you don't have to cross the road anymore. You can go straight down from the like the central nearby the Grand Palace, go underground, and then well get up again in the Grand Palace. And then we have another updates about Chinatown. If you are foodies and you love to eat, yes, over there. Due to the pandemic, it's sad but true, but we lost a lot of local restaurants. Yeah, but anyway, we still have another new restaurant that open up, another new method. So I believe that if you can have a chance to visit Thailand next year, next time, it might be a brand new experience for sure. They had a lot of things change, and at least we survived. Thank you very much for the presentation, even though it doesn't really work for the PowerPoint, but it's all right.
Yeah, thank you, G from Thailand. I think we will provide the link and your PowerPoint slides later on for everyone that can access to. So the information will not be missed out. And I believe it's also very tough for Thailand, since I know that Thailand is very strong and very like depending on its tourism industry. But I believe that good culture, you know, rich hospitality and very nice people over there will still have, you know, its good time coming back very soon. So cheer up, G. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Next one, we have Sebastian from Africa, from Tanzania. So Sebastian, are you ready? Can please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm ready. How are you guys? I'm so happy that you are here now and listening and sharing a lot from your countries. My name is Sebastian from Tanzania in Africa. I know a lot of people may not know Tanzania, but we are at the eastern side of Africa. So I am a visual tour guide at MyProGuide. I think from background of my experience of visual tour, MyProGuide made it very real to me, and it was very good, like an angel. At 2 years back, when we were facing this pandemic, it was very very hard time, and I joined several of visual tour platforms. I did, and also I met a Joe. Then after I joined MyProGuide, then from there I was working as a visual tour. But although I was trying to touch with local travelers who were ready to visit some countries or some of the country corners, but our culture in Africa is not to travel. Yeah, I think you may not understand that. So a visual tour was the main source of what I was doing by that time. So and the visual tour is very helpful, and it will not end toward even after this pandemic. By this time, I also a safari guide. I know most of the people who know they are wildlife lovers, and they like safari. Safari means journey, so this is Swahili, and safari can be done in most of the countries in East Africa and southern part of Africa. So, but Tanzania is number one famous for safari here, and also for the population in Tanzania is about 60 million people in Tanzania. And where I am in my city, Arusha, where I call myself, this is my confident city. It's about 600 to 700,000 people population here in Arusha. Arusha is very famous with the local experience, and we are close to many of indigenous people like Maasai people. Those are tribe where we like me. I have a tribe. I don't know if people in Europe where they're in your countries have tribe, but here we have tribes, and we have very indigenous and very unique people here. So it's nice. So I am so happy that you guys are tour guide and enjoying this day, and my hookup to you and advice after and during this pandemic is to work hard to have more ideas like Joe how he did and his team. So he made something very very interesting for everyone to see and to experience. So it's also for us to think more than visual tour, more than local experience. We need also to expand our experience. Guides are travelers. Guides are not nomadic, but they are very wise more than any other visitor in our local areas. Mm-hmm. So we need to expand our knowledge, to expand our market, and also to offer even from our local experience to other, like to be even agents. It's hard to work as an agent, but also they can do that. So you can partner with some of local guides like me, and also that's from there we share a lot. So I'm a local guide, and also I'm a tour operator. It means I own the company. My company called Katikati Tours and Safaris. So here I operate safaris, wildlife safari, and Kilimanjaro climbing. So yeah, I'm so happy that I share some of the words. Then thank you so much, you guys.
Thank
it's not
you
enough.
So much.
At least we'll have another chamber.
No problem. Thank you so much, Sebastian. Africa safari is always my dream. As an Asian, in Taiwan, in Asia Pacific area, it's kind of like, dreaming like someday we can go there and see the animals and see your cultures and see lovely people over there. So thank you very much for sharing.
Sure.
All right.
Sure.
Now let's switch to the other, my dear, friend country in Asia, Uchit from Bhutan, the most happy country in the world. So Uchit, over to you. You can unmute yourself and start talking.
Oh, thank you, Daniel. Can you hear me, Daniel?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, I hope everybody else can hear me as well.
Yes.
So my name is Uchet, and I'm from Bhutan. So it's 8:30 p.m. in Bhutan right now. So before I start my presentation, I would like to thank MyProGuide for this opportunity for all of us, the guides around the world, to connect each other on this very special day today. And especially like the ProGuide, the MyProGuide for conducting this event, and then and Joe, Daniel, and Rita, and rest of the MyProGuide team for able to make this event very successful. So today is a very special day. It's an international tour guide day, as well as it coincides with the birth anniversary of our king. So 21st February is the birth anniversary of our king as well. He's 42 years old today, and it's a very special day. So I've started working in tourism since 2012, and I started my journey in tourism industry as a tourist driver, and after working for 2 years, I trained myself as a tourist guide, and from 2014 onwards until the pandemic, until 2020, I was doing guiding, cultural guiding as well as trekking and nature guiding for all 6-7 years, back to back, continuously. And after the pandemic, the Bhutan stopped travel, inbound travel, and then after that, most of us, all the guides and people working in tourism, are switched into different sectors, like constructions, trading, all these things. So my experience in tourism is almost 10 years, and I'm specialized in culture, trekking, and nature tours. And oh, by the way, I'm today, since it's a special day for all the tour guides as well as for Bhutan, so I'm wearing this dress because and this is a national dress of Bhutan. It's called Go. Rita, can you change the slide? So just to talk about Bhutan. So Bhutan is a small country. You can see in the picture, it's a small landlocked country, and we have a total area of 38,394 square kilometers. It's a very tiny country, and we have just a population of just about 0.75 million people only. And we are a very mountainous country, and 100% mountainous country, and we're to the eastern part of Himalaya. And we are Buddhist nation with 75% of the people following Buddhism, 23% of the people following Hinduism, and 2% following other religion. But we are basically majority of the people following Buddhism. And the place where I'm living and talking right now is Thimphu, and Thimphu is the capital city of Bhutan. And we follow gross national happening. Excuse me, Rita, the earlier slide, please. Yeah. So we are located between two big countries, like China in the north and India in the south. And next slide, Rita. Thank you. So basically in Bhutan, the tourism, like modernizing itself, like started very late. Only in 1970s it started. So tourism also started around that time. So tourism in Bhutan started around 1974 with very less tourists, like 287 visitors visited Bhutan around that time. And those time, all those tourists were coming, to Bhutan from southern borders. And only in 1983, Bhutan started its national airlines that is called Druk Air, which is a national airlines, which is still operating. And from 1991, tourism was privatized. That's how like travel agents, all these private companies started to work in tourism. But before that, it was all functioned by government. And in 2005, since Bhutan realized negative impact of tourism, then the government started with like sustainable tourism strategy, so that it will like it will benefit for the future generation. So we have a very stringent sustainable tourism policy still following in Bhutan. That's why it's very expensive. You can see it's very expensive because for anybody who wants to visit Bhutan, they have to pay a minimum tariff of $250 per person per night. So if, for example, if somebody is staying here for 3 nights, so he or she has to pay $250 into 3 nights. That's like how they, try to control the travelers coming to Bhutan, because we don't have enough infrastructure to have so many tourists as well. And that's so our tourism policy is called high value, low impact. Okay, and in 2011 we had another private airlines, which is Bhutan Airlines. So in Bhutan we just have 2 airlines right now, which one is run by government, which is Druk Air, and another one is Bhutan Airlines, which started in 2011. Rita, next slide, please.
Sorry, Wujit, because of time limits, maybe we just conclude our introduction.
Okay, so I just like to conclude. So the COVID situation, so most of the people working in tourism industry are like, so either working in the construction industry, trading, and people are like reskilling, upskilling, so they can like maybe join other industries. And for myself, I was like, for the 2 years, I was like training myself, upskilling for like nature tours and trekking, so that prepare for the future of tourism in Bhutan. So anyways, I would like to end it like quickly, so because of lack of time. So Bhutan has like we have like people are most of the people are already vaccinated, and we have like 7,000 people cases in Bhutan, and we have only 6 deaths so far. And people working in tourism has been supported by the King's Relief Fund, which has been people are getting fund from the from the government or the king to support themselves. And people are looking forward like for the opening of tourism in near future. So that's it for my presentation, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you,
I hope, yes.
Yeah.
I hope we'll like get to meet each other in the near future.
Yes, of course. Okay. Yeah, we would love to catch up with you soon in your country. Very beautiful land, and especially I listened to the ex-prime minister's presentation in TED, introducing about GNH of your country. I think that is really appreciated. That is a really good concept. So yeah, we can find information online there and know more about Bhutan. So thank you very much, Ujit.
Yes, thank you so much, Daryl. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And all right, so now let's move on to a very cold place right now.
That's right.
Yeah. So Asha from Russia, over to you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Can you see? Yeah, I can see, can hear. Yes.
Okay. Now, good afternoon to everybody. I'm very, very happy taking a part in this event. So my name is Anastasia, but it's hard for some people to say. So you can call me like my lovely tourists, Asia. I was born and the entire life lived in the Russia's most beautiful and visited city, St. Petersburg. And today I will represent myself, like an Olympic champion without a flag because I cannot gain my laptop. Yes, I would like to talk about the current situation of inbound tourism in Russia. Next slide, please, Rita. And I would like to talk a little bit more about the cheerful prospects and new opportunities that COVID actually gave us. You can push the button one more time and then slowly turn to the next slide. First of all, I mean new destinations and new locations. Huge number of Russians were unable to travel abroad during these 2 years, but they were still seeking for new impressions. And a lot of our little known locations got a second wind, and all the resources that were previously used in the development of inbound tourism were involved in the development of domestic one. So our touristic map became much more colorful than it was before the pandemic started. At the same time, our well-known and well-advertised locations, touristic locations, infrastructure was remastered, and it has become much more safer, much more convenient and comfortable. So I was traveling a lot during these 2 years. So I can confidently say that we are well prepared for the post-COVID period. It's all about offline tourism. What about online tourism? Online tourism in Russia is developing rapidly, but it's in the very beginning stage. So I think it will take up to a year for it to become a functional and useful service in Russia. And the last point I would like to talk about, I think most of us are much more interested in, it's foreign language speaking guide situation. In Russia, we are limited by our working language. I didn't tell that I'm professional Mandarin speaking guide for almost 7 years. So I cannot use my Mandarin speaking guide license with English, Spanish, or even Russian speaking tourists. It's a great problem. I need to get new licenses, and not only the one, I need each local museum license. So it's the problem. But at the same time, most of the Russian touristic places live in a seasonal circle, season and off season. It's all about our severe climate conditions. So most of our guides have an additional job. For example, in the St. Petersburg, in my home city, off season lasts half a year, from October till April. So of course we have an additional job, teaching, translations, scientific researches, or sometimes even work unrelated to hospitality industry. So when the COVID started, most of us were well prepared from this side. While preparing the presentation, I've talked a lot with my colleagues, not only Mandarin speaking guides, also other foreign language speaking guides, and 90% of them, I've talked to almost 50 persons, said that they are ready to continue the reconstruction of inbound tourism when the borders are opened. That means then when the borders are opened, we are well prepared for the offline tourism. Online tourism, I've mentioned, yes, it's just in the very beginning stage. So there are two formal barriers for the recovery of inbound tourism in Russia. The first one is borders opening. Rita, could you please turn to the fourth slide? To the fourth slide, I think. Thank you. And another one is exception of the other countries' vaccination certificates. As for today, whenever you go in Russia, you need to show up to provide your vaccination QR code. And mostly everywhere, we accept only Russian-produced vaccines. That's the problem. But I think when these two questions will be solved, and it will be quite fast, quite soon, maybe to the end of this year, we will be ready to invite foreign guests, and we will be very happy to invite our foreign guests. You can turn to the next slide. So by and far, we are well prepared. We are looking forward to the borders opening. If you have any questions, or if you look for some more details, or maybe you would like to get in touch on the last slide, Rita, please. You can find my contacts, and I'll be glad to see you online and offline. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I don't want to spend too much time. Yes. So if you have more questions, just find me. It will be fine. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the attention.
Yes, of course. Stay healthy, stay happy. when it is super cold over there.
Yes.
Because living in Taipei, I always feel like, oh my God, this is like so cool. But yeah, I can understand like during this time, it will be tough. But anyway, yeah, be smiling and yeah, be happy, embracing the world again, and hope to see you someday in Russia. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so now let's move back to my hometown, Taiwan. So Justin, you ready, right?
Yes, thank you. Hi, hello everyone. I'm surprised that we still have hundreds some people. Stay tuned because the panel's discussion will be lots of information like to share. I believe I still have 3 minutes. I will make this 3 minutes on time.
Thank you.
But I'm so surprised that I didn't know that we have different time zone. The time length is different in different areas. So I believe Taiwan time 3 minutes should be 3 minutes exact. So don't worry too much. And as a tour guide, all you know is that once we start talking and we'll never stop. So it's hard to stop ourselves. So Daniel, if I talk too long, just let me know. So make it quick. On this chart, you will see the opportunity in Taiwan for English speaking guide. And myself, I speak English and Japanese. So for English speaking guide, it's quite competitive to be an English tour guide. But during the pandemic, that even harder for myself to be on tour. So next slide, please. So next one, please. Thank you. So what I have been doing is I still be able to go on tour and also do virtual because, well, I sign up with MyProGuide and I use the source, the platform. So that helps myself to be able to be still in the industry. And I noticed that we still have lots of tour guides here today, don't have their camera on. And I know you, every one of you will be like us, whoever representing and do the speaking, that you also have lots of things like to share. So if you think you have things that you like to share, make sure you mention back to Joe, and perhaps we can arrange something like this again. And next slide, please. Okay, so what I've been doing is a virtual tour with Japan, and this is like a tourist expo. So I did introduce Taiwan with internet. And next slide, please. Okay, so this is the platform that I use. So I make myself able on the internet so people can find me. Next one, please. So the last page, it shows that I use all these social medias just to represent myself. And once I'm on tour or virtually, people can reach me. So please do scan on this QR code or just type MyProGuide, Justin Yu, you will find me. Welcome to Taiwan. That's my 3 minutes. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Justin. Wow, it's very short and brief in time. Thank you very much. Yeah, welcome to Taiwan. This is a beautiful, lovely place that's worth of your visiting someday. And Taiwan is now really safe because we will control the COVID-19. So yeah, come to this island and we will welcome you with the great hospitality. Okay, now let's welcome the next one. We're approaching the end. So guys, just stay with us and we can provide more information and insightful information later on at the end of our seminar today. So the next one will be Antonio from South Africa. So Antonio, are you ready?
Hello, yes, guys, I'm ready. I'm ready. Let me put my headsets.
Yeah, let's get started.
Yes. Right at the bottom of the world. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
You see my queen behind, Table Mountain. She's the queen of Cape Town. Rita, I heard your name several times, so change the slide. So 23 years in hospitality, born Italian, ended up in South Africa for the wrong reasons. You all know what it means. And here it is. Love it. Absolutely love it. It's a great country. It's a country full of history. It's a country full of nature. And always have the edge of being at the bottom of the world. So it's a fantastic place to be. And yes, 23 years of hospitality, most of it in London, and then a few years here. And then I decided to start my own company. And boom, COVID arrived. exactly when I qualified as a tour guide. So what am I going to do? The first part, I mean, I don't know if you know about South Africa and how we went through COVID, was the hard lockdown. So hard lockdown means that we could only go to the shops, supermarkets, not shops for clothing or anything like that, just necessary needs, and medical assistance. That's all that we could do. We couldn't do anything else. So at the beginning, I went to moved with friends, of course, not to stay alone. And it was party time. It was a lot of fun. The problem came in after the first couple of weeks, because you start to get bored after a while. So you can't gym, you can't go out, you can't take the dog for a walk, you can't do anything at all. So the depression started to kick in. So the 5 weeks of hard lockdown has really taken us all down here. And then we started to gradually move towards a different level, but nothing. We were calling it level 5, which was the highest level of alert in South Africa. So we moved to level 4. I'm a smoker, so no cigarettes. You couldn't have alcohol. You couldn't have anything of that. Obviously, the city changed completely. So there were videos from drones flying around, on social media and everything, of animals taking over the city. Jackals, caracals, something that has never been seen before. It came back into the city. What do? We have limited time, so we were like the animal in the cage. In this case, we were just on the opposite, the other way around. And after level 4, a friend of mine contacted me and he said, "Listen, think about doing virtual. That's something that you can do." But I couldn't move. We didn't have the possibility to move around. So I started to do virtual, but I started to do it with slides like we do it now on a computer. And I was like, this is not really working. And then slowly, I started to move into town. So we started to get open a little bit more. International tourism wasn't existing whatsoever. And then it's very difficult to plan a holiday here in South Africa because we are so far away from everything and everybody. Anyway, first virtual tour, 1 hour. I remember buying this gimbal and walking around and having people thinking like, this one is crazy. He's talking to himself with a phone. In the end of the day, now I got used to that idea because still they're judging me. But anyway, the monologue was actually quite a fantastic thing. Then you start to get, as soon as you start to eat, your appetite comes in. So you start to see other opportunities, what you can do, what alternatives you can have, where can you go with the marketing, where you can develop your website. So I started to learn a lot of things. So self-made in many ways, loads of classes, loads of, how can you call them, seminars. And the end is we're still in the same situation pretty much because nothing has really changed. International tourism is coming back. There's a lot of Germans, there's a lot of British, but that's about it. That's where it stops really. So tourism has changed. I think so, because I think that people is actually looking at virtual now as an investigation to their journey. They're looking at virtual to learn a language. They're looking at virtual to meet new people, because that's actually killing the loneliness quite a lot as well. How do people travel? I have no idea, because I think that the moment we're actually sitting in the borderline and we don't know, we're waiting for the results, whether we're going to go right or whether we're going to go left. What's the future? So that's the exciting part, I suppose. We're gonna wait and see. But one of the messages that I've got for everybody, and that's out of my own experience: continue to learn, continue to study, continue to discover new things, because we don't know what tomorrow is gonna be like. We can be optimistic or negative, but we don't know what tomorrow is like. So let's continue with learning, because that's, I think, the most powerful weapon that we can possibly use to protect ourselves. So a big monologue, as the tour guides can always do on virtual, but I thank you guys, and I hope to see you here in South Africa, in Cape Town.
Thank you very much, Antonio. I like the pictures you shared, and I like the last sentence. This is the weapon for the future. New skills,
absolutely,
yeah, and good mindset to embrace the post-COVID-19 world. Yeah, thank you very much.
Learning.
Yeah,
thank you.
And South Africa, again, like the place I am dream of coming.
We're waiting for you.
Yeah, stay tuned. Thank you very much, Antonio.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Okay, cheers. Bye. So now, yeah, last but not the least, let's welcome Sam from Singapore as our last tour guide sharing. Sam, are you ready?
Oh, yes, I'm ready.
Yes, so please go ahead.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sam from Singapore. First of all, I'd like to wish everyone happy International Tour Guides Day. Right. So like you can see, the story is the same everywhere. The pandemic has put the tour guide business or industry on the back burner. Nothing much for us to do. So when COVID hit us in 2019, right, and arrived in Singapore in the early 2020s, right, tourism practically dried up, right? So Peter, I'd like to share the next slide. Right, so you can see there are 4 pictures of me in different uniforms. So there was help from the government, right? So there was a pivoting and transition to essential services. So a lot of the tourist guides were actually absorbed into essential services, meaning they were deployed as ambassadors for safe management. We have to go down on the ground. When we went into lockdown, we have to tell people to stay at home, wear your mask, keep the safe distance. Right. So that was one of the jobs that I did, which I'm still doing. If you can see the red uniform, I'm still in my uniform, and it's already almost 11 here in Singapore. Right. I finished my last shift, rushed home to join this online seminar. Right. So during the time, as you know, we have a small population. Our foreign workers are exiting, they are going home, right, to be with their family because they do not know how long the lockdown is going to be, right? So again, I went into another job. I took on a second job, right? Because staying at home was a killer. So I took on another second job. I became a healthcare assistant where I work in the airport. I was working at Changi Airport. I was seeing all the empty planes coming in with only 1 or 2 passengers, right? So I'm working as a swabber for COVID-19, meaning every passengers coming in here have to swab. So I have pivoted from being a tourist guide to a safe distancing ambassador. I pivoted to being a healthcare assistant, right? Where I'm a frontline worker, right? I will see people who are coming in, right? Currently, I think things are picking up. The airport is getting busy. Planes are coming in full, almost full, especially from Europe, from the US, from Australia. Right? I think things are picking up, but we have not relaxed our border measures. We are taking a very measured stance. Right? People are coming only on vaccinated travel lanes. We are only letting in small numbers of people. Right. So Rita has really changed my slide for me. Right. So as you can see, I've detailed out what is what I've been doing during the pandemic. And the last is a hybrid tourist guide. Right. We have gone virtual. I've gone virtual, but not in the sense where I take a phone on my own and start to do a monologue. We prepared to be more professional. It's something like more like an actor. We have a cameraman on the ground. We have a safety officer on the ground together with the guy. So we conduct tours for about 1 to 1.5 hours. Right. So I think pivoting to new skills, right? Stand the tourist guide in good stead, right? We may be required to use the new skills that we have acquired when we travel or when we bring our guests overseas or when guests come here. Right. I think that's all I have to share with everybody. Right. Been doing 3 jobs now. Right. Practically like most of us have been. We are working non-stop back to back. So I'm very happy, even though I may not be guiding at the moment, but I hope to return to guiding, which is my passion. This is going to be my retirement job. Thank you, everybody. And I hope to see you in the near future in Singapore. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That's also everyone's wish for the new year. So it's very informative. The 3 steps that you just shared through your presentation. Thank you very much, Hussein. And also, we are very glad that we have all our 15 tour guides from the world finishing their presentation. Now, I would like to invite everybody in the room to open your camera, to open your webcam. And just let us take a look at your beautiful faces and let's have a group photo. So please don't be shy, just open the camera. And thank you all for being, still with us, after, such presentation, with a lot of stories and very exciting information. So Rita, I think people are all ready. So maybe we just give the camera a smile, give the world a smile, a big smile, and let's have a group photo all together. 3, 2, 1. And maybe a gesture from your hands. Hello. Thank you for being with us. It's so good to have all of you from the corner of the world. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. I think we are done with the group photo. The last session, but not least, but on the contrary, I think the most important and informative session is the panel discussion together with Ruby and Joe. And we're sorry that the time is a bit delayed, but we will rush to the end. So I don't want to miss, very good thoughts and suggestions from both Joe and Ruby. So both of you, if we are ready, we can just start. So Ruby,
I'm
are
here.
you there? Oh, so Ruby, are you there? Okay. So maybe Rita, you can help contacting Ruby, but me and Joe, we can start, a few questions with Joe first. All right.
Sure.
So Joe, yeah, just please share with us your, feedback to all these tour guides. They're sharing and, their good stories under the pandemic and what they are doing right now. Maybe you share your thoughts with us.
Okay. Well, you guys can hear me, all right?
Yes.
Hello.
Hello,
Ruby.
Hi. Sorry, I couldn't hear you. Did you have a question for me?
We are now just starting our panel discussion. Can you hear me?
Absolutely. I'm in the mountains, but I can hear you.
Ah, wow, that's a very good seeing. Good. So yeah, it's a bit delay, I'm sorry, but let's rush to the end with your very important suggestions during this panel discussion. Okay, so I just asked Joe my first question about his feedback and thoughts toward the presentations by 15 different tour guides. So Joe, please go ahead first.
Okay, so first of all, I have to say thank you for you guys are still staying here with us. And after 15 tour guides, they share their experience represented by different countries. I would say that is very impressive because I can tell that everybody still got patience or enthusiasm in tourism industry. Being a tour guide is very difficult, and because we study a lot and got a license, provide our happiness for the tourist. And after that 15 presentation, I can tell, oh my God, I think we have to travel and meet all the tour guides around the world. That is our value. That was from my side.
So Ruby, do you have any feedback or suggestions to all the tour guides from the world right now in the room?
Continue sharing your challenges, but also the things that you are doing well with other guides, because sometimes we feel isolated and we don't realize that other people are going through exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
So this forum is really excellent, and I would suggest you have, a regular panel like this, every 3 months or during low season and so on, because it's very, very helpful. Everybody's presentation was very, very interesting. There's a lot of creativity, and you should continue that. But I strongly suggest you continue to share in your challenges, because you'll find different solutions when you realize, oh, everybody else is also facing the same thing. I'm just going to share something very quickly. My colleagues, today's International Tourist Guide Day, so I am actually with my colleagues in Saudi Arabia.
Wow. Hello. Wow. Wow. Nice meeting you.
Yes. So they all wanted to say hello to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Very good. Very inspirational. So, Joe, I want to follow up on one topic. Since many of the tour guides just share that they are doing the virtual tours, and that virtual tours actually give them opportunities to, well, first of all, making money, right? And secondly, they would still be able to use this virtual tour, this online tour, to get connected with their customers. So I want to ask you on that. As many markets start releasing lockdown regulations, how do you see the growth potential for online tour?
Okay, so I would say for the virtual tour, online tour, whatever you call it, it will be a new way for the tourism industry. For example, people who studying language online, people who watching, people who studying language online, people who call the food delivery during pandemic. But actually for both of these services was already existing before pandemic. But because of the pandemic, both of these service be more users. Users is increasing because people need it. Online tour and virtual tour is something new during because of the COVID, because everybody cannot able to travel. So that is a new way for tourists, because many of the places that maybe we are not able to go it even without pandemic. For example, Africa. We want to see the safari, we want to see some animals, but we are not able to make it. But online tour, they can help us. Or the other thing, we want to do something on the way when we go to walking or before we go to sleep. But maybe I'm in Asia, but I want to see what is going on in London. Then I can go on an online tour and see and ask the tour guys to show me around. So I would say, yeah, that would be never disappear, but that will get important in the future, because maybe I can see the London first, and after that I can prepare my London tour. That was my idea.
So you mean like online tour, virtual tour, it could be the product itself for people to experience, virtually online, but also it could play as a role for marketing, for pre-tour, like view of that city, of the destination, so that people have more identification with the place. They would love to go there, like even better than if they don't have that material, right? The marketing strategy and marketing purpose.
Yeah, it's right.
Okay, that's very good. Ruby, so the same question for you. How do you see the potential growth for online tour?
That online tours, to me anyway, it's a tool that you use to actually help sell yourself. I've been doing online tours before the pandemic, and I think that it all depends on the region. So yeah, it actually existed a long time before that. And I really use it to promote the tours rather than actually give the tour. Because personally, I would rather do something online, or the only type of virtual tours that I do are for corporate clients. In other words, a single group that hires me, it's usually business clients. Then it works really well because I'm speaking to a group with the same interests. So I don't like to do the tours where people book for €5 or so on. I don't find it engaging enough, but when I have a group that's, there for purpose and it's a private personalized virtual tour, then I find that it's really engaging. So that's my opinion. I'm not against them. I think virtual tours are great, but for me, I would prefer to use them for promotion or for groups that are homogenous.
I see. I think that's a very good idea. In certain conditions, online tour would be very useful for people, to stay with the travel experience, the travel feeling. And there is a term called hybrid. So when online we have a tour, but offline we have the other group of people coming. Do you think hybrid will be the next model?
I think hybrid will be good for conferences. And I mean, virtual tours for people who are disabled, for example, is great. I just did a hybrid virtual tour recently, and it was negative and positive because those who were there wanted to go off on their own. Those who were virtual were happy to see it. So it all depends on the context. So it's always, it's always of who you're doing it to. And I did actually a research on virtual tours last year with my tourism students to find out who was booking the online virtual tours in certain cities or regions, the ones that you book, for individual. And many of the people that were booking the online tours were actually other tourist guides. So 75% were other tourist guides. Interesting, isn't it?
Interesting. So like tour guides like to experience it like for trial and have a new try, experiment. For each other.
I think the reason too is that we're curious and we're interested in a lot of things. So we automatically book these things. But yeah, I definitely think it's the way to go, and it'll evolve and change like everything, and very quickly.
I think that's very good. Like, from the answers from both Joe and Ruby, we understand that no matter it's online, virtual, or hybrid tour, well, it's not replacing the offline, the real time tours originally that we are familiar with, but it's a new opportunity. It's a new way to cater for some certain group of people. Right? Good. So my following question would be, in the future, will tour guides still be tour guide? Or someone with diverse jobs and identities at the same time. For example, when the tour guide plus travel planner from key opinion leader, plus YouTuber, digital nomad, etc. So after COVID-19, do you see this trend is coming that the tour guide is no longer the tour guide itself? It could be something more. It could be the person with more opportunities. So maybe Joe, you can share your ideas first.
Hey, thank you for the question. So yeah, as you guys can see, there's so many YouTubers or some like key opinion leaders. They are just kind of like they are also holding their gimbal, holding their cameras, and walking around and tell people what's a good food, what's a good attraction, something like that. But I would still say that is something cannot replacement of the tour guides, because tour guides we have knowledge, we know how to entertain customers. We also know we also know what the tourist needs. So I think we will still be the tour guide, but we can change to the other way, being a tour guide. For example, maybe you can study more and having different expertise, or you can change your guiding style. But either way, it's making you more competitive to make the tourists starting to like you or loving you, and start sharing with their friends and say, all right, I have to go to Taiwan because I have to meet the tour guide Joe because he's so fun and I always have a good time with him. So that if people start to saying that and share with their friends, then I think you are getting somewhere.
Yeah. So you mean having personal brand could be like new way to rebuild up his own reputation in the industry and to the customers. So it's like personal branding trend that's coming in.
Right. All right.
Okay. So Ruby, so you're now in the vein. I feel like we are joining your virtual tour right now. So Ruby, are you able to share with us your thoughts about the tour guide's role after COVID-19? Would it be like more diverse?
I actually am of another nature. I think the demand for qualified licensed guides is going to grow. And especially in regions where I'm right now in Saudi Arabia, the demand, because it's still untouched. And in places like here, in places, for example, in Iran, or really places that are not so open to tourism, by all means, you're going to need a guide. I think it's much easier. Remember that a guide also breaks the language barrier. So for many people, that is their profession. Like myself, that is how I make a living. But in other regions, yes, because for example, again, if you live in a Nordic country like I do, the season is short, or our colleague from London, or colleagues from New York, and so on. So we might have to have both, or two professions, but I don't think that the profession is going to go away. I think it's actually going to grow, because what people are looking for today, they're not looking for tours, they're looking for experiences. I don't offer tours. I offer unique experiences. And that's what'll keep guides working.
That's very good. Well, it's I would say it's very insightful from Ruby's suggestion, and especially when the tour guide comes to different area and different countries. Actually, they are encountering different situations, both in business and in their environment. So this is very good. My last question to both of you: if time could go back to a pre-COVID-19 time, for example, 2019. Okay, so if time goes back to 2019, and I would like you to give a reminder to all the tour guides in the room, in the world, and how would that be? One reminding sentence to the tour guides when time goes back to 2019. So Joe, maybe you first.
Okay, I would say, even before COVID-19, please keep studying, keep yourself more enthusiasm, and being a tour guide, I know we are working very lonely, like we are isolated, and we talk a lot, but we always have to keep ourselves learning something new, and also listen to the tourists. Many of the tour guides keep talking and never listen to the customers. But customers, they are everything. So listen to them and put everything in yourself and digest it and express and deliver something the tourists want. That is what I want to give the tour guide.
Thank you, Joe. And Ruby? Ruby, are you still with us? Okay.
I am still with you. Yeah. My suggestion would be, if I could go back to 2019 after what we've learned during the pandemic, is I think that the role of the tourist guide, it's even more evident now that we have to really emphasize sustainability. In other words, promote the local food, really think about sustainability and our own environment. And sustainability is not just about recycling, it's about really focusing on your local environment wherever in the world that you are. To give you an example, don't go to Starbucks, go to the little coffee shop that's owned by the man across, you understand, that type of thing. And I think that if I went back to 2019, I would say that I would have paced myself and given myself a weekend or two, because I work 7 days a week. And the pandemic has taught me that I need to, in order for me to be creative or more creative, I need a little bit of a rest. And yeah, I think that's it. But I think that sustainability and thinking about our own health, both physical and mental.
That's very good. That's very good advice. You know, I have the kind of like the same feeling. As a tour guide, we are treating people well. Okay, and we are receiving people with our hospitality we regard them as our, family, as our good friends, and we like to see our customers happy during the tour. But at the same time, we're actually, kind of like suffering, from the hardship, from the hard works. So I would also give the tour guides a suggestion. Well, no matter it's in 2019 or right now. So please, my friend, treat yourself well, be nice to yourself so that you can stay healthy, you can stay happy, and you will be always energetic to continue your tour guiding works, to spread, your passion with the people. That's my advice. Okay, I think it's a very informative and very successful event. Especially we hear so many stories from the world and from so many, different angles of the tour guide today. And yeah, but this is the end of the seminar. So I believe that everyone here has very good story. But I would like to hear you telling your stories in person. So I do hope to bump into you in the corner of the world someday very soon. Okay. Thank you very much again for joining us. Wish you a very nice day, a very sweet dream at night. Thank you very much. Hope to see you someday. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye. We can wave your hands to the camera. So I know that you are, still with us, and we will miss you. Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye-bye, see you guys.
I think, Joe, this is a good time for you to sing a song, right?
Happy birthday to you.
Oh, to yourself, right?
All right, guys, before you go, I think, yeah, now some people is here. Well, you can listen to me or you can go, I think. Well, but back to the question, if before COVID-19, I would still say, prepare yourself and put yourself on the internet. And I think that was the purpose for why I built out this company. So yet again, welcome you to join us. But of course, you can welcome you to join the other platforms. But for the tour guys, make yourself online. That is super important.
Right. Okay, guys, It's time to say goodbye.
It's time to go. You guys can close the window. I think you guys miss us, all right? We will make it again next time. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Look forward to the next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.